What's going on, y'all? We done. We finished. Complete. Well, we at like 95%, but we out of here. 98. So, right now, this is an old community. So the way how this community is sloped, man, it's a huge hill. And you should always put gutters on houses, but we definitely needed to put them on this house because the grade coming down the hill is awful. It's nothing but rushing water. I mean, we built a berm up as much as we could to divert the water, but still, we got to get some gutters on here so they're not splashing against our foundation. Y'all come on inside. We got this beautiful 15x4 deck. She can watch her kids over here at the park. Oh, yeah, man, we made this nice for her. She got lights on the front porch. We got these beautiful windows all throughout the living room. Windows cost. Windows are expensive. If you can minimize the amount of windows you can, the better. Luckily, we did get these windows with the grid. It could have been worse. I could have got a fully framed picture window, which would have probably cost me double. Nah, it's a few things that I did make some mistakes on that you want to remember. When you get in your fire smoke alarms, you want to get one that's carbon monoxide, and you want to make sure they're wired in. You don't want to get the battery ones because it'll slow your electrician down. But one thing we did do, if she wants to put our TV on this wall, we got the blocking right here. So she ain't got to run the cord down. She can just put it on the wall. If she want to put it over here, we got it wired. Another thing that I learned from the cable guy, because he had to come and run cables, I needed cable. I needed internet, because I got a smart home, Alexa, thermostat that need Wi-Fi, which we didn't know. If you ever build a house from the scratch, make sure you get the cheap thermostat to begin with, because if you don't have Wi-Fi, you're going to still need to be able to test your AC. But if you want to get fancy after that, $40, $50 a month, keep the house cool, So boom. Another thing too, man, when you get your windows, make sure they give you all the window screens. Man, I'm finna have to go buy 10 window screens for these windows, and they should have came with screens. You know what I'm saying? It's just like the little simple things. Another thing too, man, when they put your granite in, make sure that you can twist your knob on your faucet all the way. And then whoever puts your cabinets in, make sure they either put some kind of bracing right here for your dishwasher, or you go get one of these. It's like a universal clamp, where you can put it to the side of the cabinets so that you can mount your dishwasher. So it's some little minor touches like that we had to work on. Man, other than that, we got to get some door stoppers in. Baby, we looking good. We looking good. I know y'all think that why am I in the closet? One thing that we overlooked on this house plan is the closet layout design. We got saved with these wired shelving, which is a go-to for a lot of builders. For me personally, I do not like them. They'll work for this time around, but next time we want to have unique closet designs. I never would have worked with these cheap wire shelvings. I maybe would have had like a rack for shoes here, and then maybe a closet design that wrapped all the way around. We got away with this, but you won't ever see this again. So whenever you get your guys to install your floors, from now on, what I do is I have my framers install all my new doors. And on my baseboards, I want my flooring guys to put them in. Because what happened is, I got these guys over here today, but he just had to put this brand new piece of flooring in because they cut it short and I had this gap. I'll send Brad a video, but I had this gap right here in the flooring. And it's just so difficult to fix. You got to have the flooring guys come back out here. It's just a waste of time. So if the flooring guys do the baseboards, they'll make sure they cover all the gaps. You won't never have to worry about it. If you ever do cabinets, make sure you pay attention to the latches on the cabinets. Because one thing that took us a long time was this cabinet didn't come with this latch. So we couldn't secure it to the other cabinet and we couldn't close our Lazy Susan. If you can get your Lazy Susan built before they send it in, that's the best thing you could do. Matter of fact, what I would do is, even if they build the vanities, get them to build your kitchen. Because that's the last thing you want to get wrong. Your electrician, he installs your microwave. He installs your stove. Your plumber, he installs your dishwasher. So please make sure you check with your plumber and make sure that he has experience installing appliances, else they won't do it, or they won't know what to do. And they'll go ahead and install the dishwasher, aka drill a hole, 2 holes for the water line and for the electrical, and they won't mount the dishwasher. Do not pay your plumber until he mounts your dishwasher. You will fail inspection. The way how my electrician wired the house, he put a GFI right here. He put a GFI right here, and he put the third GFI under the sink. Make sure you check the GFI under the sink. And when the inspector comes over here to check everything and it's tripping in the kitchen, make sure you let him know there's a GFI under the sink. When I had my inspection, he literally failed the outlet under the sink, and he failed that outlet because that GFI was tripped. I called my electrician right there on the spot. He said, bro, the GFI is tripped. You just got to hit it. The inspector had it left here, got him back in, and he just couldn't believe how he didn't see that. He said, how did I miss that? It's all good, bro. We got it fixed. When you get these double doors, yeah, you don't really need knobs because they push in, but you still got to get these dummy knobs. That way a kid can pull them and open it. So that is one thing that the inspector failed me on. Make sure you get the dummy knobs. You don't have to get the doors that have like levers and locks on them, but you got to have something that they can hold on to. So we just got these so that they match. When I was filling out the paperwork for the USDA, they have you fill out a form. It's called a 1924-2. It was a little daunting. I filled it out pretty quick based off of our first new build, which I wasn't the builder for. I contracted a builder, a little bit different in this situation where I had to handle all the trades. And I have this beautiful 20 by 25 driveway outside. On my list of things that I was offering the buyer, it's supposed to be a gravel driveway. So I spent the extra $2,000 without an E2. Of course, they didn't complain about it, but they did complain about everything else that they didn't get that they wanted. So make sure you know what material is supposed to go in the house. You do not want to be focused on hanging up mirrors, hanging up towel bars, hanging up towel racks. There are companies, it might be a little cheaper for you to get the materials off Amazon, but there are companies that's all they do is hardware. It might cost you an extra $300 to $400, but I promise you, they come with warranty. They clean up after themselves. They'll spot paint. I mean, they're professionals. I'll definitely next time not hire a handyman and let them come in here and do it for extra $300 to $400 all day. They'll do your closet racks. They'll do your towel bars. They'll do your cabinet pulls. They'll do your house numbers. They'll do your mailbox. I mean, really all your finish work. And they do it so much, they'll get it done in a day. Y'all, the bathroom has been the biggest headache for me out of this whole project. So whenever you buy a tub, make sure you know what side the drain is on. Not only do you need to know what side the drain is on, but whatever your trim kit is, so they call this a trim kit. So boom, this is a finished trim, this is the finished trim, and this is the finished trim. Make sure you match your diverters with your trim kit from the very beginning, because the last thing you want to do is have a diverter and you don't know what trim kit fits it. You'll be running around like crazy. I mean, yeah, you can call the plumbing house and be like, hey, I got this diverter. What trim kit does it fit? But then you risk Lowe's not having it, Home Depot not having it, Amazon being expensive. I mean, you just deal with it up front. Buy your trim kit that comes with your diverter, and then that'll just make your life so much simpler. After you get your tub put in, after your inspection, go ahead and cover this all up. And you definitely want to cover it up so that nothing gets in the tub. What at all costs, I don't care if you got to saran wrap it. Cover your tub. This is like one of the most expensive pieces of your house. Cover the tub. If you're going to get granite, get the backsplash. Unless you're going to tile this, the backsplash doesn't cost that much because it doesn't, when they measure granite, they do it by the square footage. And because this is, I mean, you're talking about maybe like a half of a foot, maybe 3/4 of a foot. It's just all the length. So this is probably like 10 square feet right here. So they're not going to charge you nothing for this. So to add a little extra to it, get it.
You're saying basically double this up.
Nah, just get it. Because usually this wouldn't come with it. It would just come with the slab. So they call this a backsplash. It's just a little bit more decorative. It looks nice. Yeah, it looks great. When you quote for cabinets, if you want to take the budget-friendly way out, make sure you only do gray, white. When you go with something like this that has been wrapped, I mean, you just can't find it everywhere. And a lot of times it comes with a price. I mean, luckily it's soft close, but we definitely did not hit our cabinet budget. We probably spent a little close to double. So make sure you know what you're doing when it's come time to order some cabinets. But what I can say is there is some small things where you can save a lot of money. We did save money on the hardware, even though I wouldn't worry about that next time. So ladies and gentlemen, so this right here, this is not your water heater. This is your HVAC return. When you build a house, make sure, it depends on the climate, how you want to run your ducts. If you're asking me, it's better if you run your ducts in the floor. If you're in a colder climate, like if you're in New York or like Chicago or something like that, somewhere where there's there's more cold than there is heat because being in the floor, it'll help with the heat, seeing how heat rises. It'll help warm the house. If you're in a hotter climate where you need AC, put your ducts in the ceiling. Don't let your HVAC guy be lazy and they try to run them through the ground so they can hurry up and get out of there. Tell them to run it in the ceiling. Now, if you run it in the ceiling, you'll need a little bit of plywood down because your return is going to need something to sit on. Bedrooms are simple. I mean, we put the block in right here so she can put a TV. We don't anticipate she'll put her bed right here, maybe right here. That's why we put the 2 outlets so that, she can put her bed in the middle. This room is big enough for a queen bed. Or she put her bed right here and she'll be blocking the vent and she'll just have, like some blinds to cover these windows. But for the most part, it's the little things like that you want to think of. Think about your room size so you can think about, people need somewhere to sleep. Not only will people need a bed, but they probably want an end table and they probably want them both along with lamps. And then putting your blocking up high is clutch because if somebody ever wants to mount a TV, they don't have to fish the cord through the wall or bust any holes, anything like that. And then with these blank plates right here, if they need to plug into like an auxiliary, what do you call that? But y'all are seeing the little cable thing that stick out and you got to twist it on there. So you can use those plates for that. Your electrician or your cable guy could tap into it really quickly. Not that anybody use that, everybody on Netflix, stuff like that, but that's just a helpful tip. So this right here is important. Your attic steps, your deck, and your crawl space door. Make sure you include that on your framing. I paid my framers maybe $7, $8 a square foot when you account for them having to come back, because they keep charging me to come back. I didn't know what to put on the quote. They charged me to put the attic steps in separately. They charged me to put the crawl space door in separately. And I didn't even use them for the deck. So try to keep all the wood. Try to minimize how many people you have to report to and you have to keep up with. So that's why I would have my framing guys do my doors as well. That way they just take it all home because they're already going to put in the front door when they finish the framing. So you might as well let them do all the doors. That way you just have to keep up with them. And that way, if there are any mistakes made along the way, they got to come back. One thing we did have a question on, man, y'all check this out. Tell me what y'all think. I really didn't know where to go with it. But this little piece of soffit right here on the side of the house, it's yellow. It's white. It's the only piece that's white. Outside of everything else being yellow. This little piece right here. So he made all the soffit, matched the soffit. I don't know if that should be white or if that should be siding. It looks a little off though because everything else is yellow and it's kind of white. I didn't really say anything. But what do you guys think? Another thing I learned is whenever you're brick masons, they do your foundation, try to make sure you check where all your vents are. Because I have this now, when we did the inspection, the inspector, he checked under the crawl space, he tested for moisture, and all the moisture levels, the highest moisture level we had was a 16, which you have to be under 20, best to be under 18, so 16 is really good. Make sure that they don't put vents right under your deck. Reason being is your crawl space needs to breathe, but that's an awful place, especially if you don't have gutters on the house and you got rain coming off the roof. It's gonna naturally hit the steps and it might slide into that vent some way. I don't know, but after having another brick mason check it, he's like, that's an awful spot to put a vent for ventilation, for one, because if the deck butts up next to it, I mean, it's not really vented that well. But just make sure you check your vents before you play your block mason, and allow the concrete and the mortar to cure before you pay them, before the joints start, before you get your framers out here and the joints start jointing. One thing we had to do was some of the seams in the block was missing mortar, so we had to actually go and fill it back in, which was crazy. So, bro, my electrician, official, but one thing his crew did is, man, on my driveway, you can't see it now because we fixed it, but they have this big ass fucking Sprinter van that carries all their materials, and so that they sit pretty. Well, he came out to do my trim work, my finished trim, maybe like a day or two, and man, he cracked my driveway. So we had to get the driveway fixed, man. So don't have nobody on the driveway after you get it done for about a week. Put a big caution tape in the way so that they can't see it or something. I mean, they'll probably want to move it, but literally put the caution tape on the driveway so they won't come and get on your driveway because they'll crack. And the last thing you want to do is fill your beautiful driveway you just did with new concrete. It's going to be looking new and out of place, and it's just going to look like a patch. Luckily, it wasn't too much, so we just chiseled it out and put a new piece in. If you build it in the summer, as soon as your driveway go in, as soon as your utilities go in, as soon as your decks go in, as soon as you can, start trying to grow grass. It's going to take at least 2 weeks before you start seeing something. It might be a little sooner, but the more grass you can grow within the process, the happier they'll be, because then they don't have to guess about when they'll have grass because they already have it, you know? Most builders, they'll sod the front. If you can afford it, go ahead. On this home, we probably could have afforded to do some sod, maybe like 3 or 4 pallets, but instead we decided to spend the money in the house. If you put your water heater in the crawl space, make sure your plumber adds an expansion tank to the water heater. That's a stupid reason to have to come back. Make sure you just check with your plumber and make sure, as far as the trim out, make sure he has all the materials he needs. As simple as that. You got to be held. You have to hold yourself accountable, to hold him accountable, to make sure the job is done right the first time. One of the biggest problems I have with this house was grading. So the way how this land sits, it's like on a slope, and it just keeps coming down. It's a gradual slope, but it's enough for it to be a slope. So the neighbor pushes the dirt over here. And what I had to do was I had to build up a berm to the house. What they need you to do is it needs to be a foot high, and it needs to come out about 8 inches from the house, so that when water tries to splash against the foundation, it hits the berm. It kind of like tries to raise up to the level, and then it washes away. I mean, gutters will definitely help this problem, but you definitely want to fix the grade too so that it helps. So we had to pack this in, and the guy who I had doing my backfill, his machine, he had difficulties turning once he got over here. So man, you got to go get a shovel, and you got to get a wheelbarrow, and you got to fill this thing in, man. Not only that, but you got to wait for it to compact, because if you got topsoil, I mean, it's just going to be sitting on it until it gets wet, and some of it might wash away, and you'll get your real levels. So you even want to get like a tamper and compact it and just keep bringing in more dirt, tamping it, bringing in more dirt, tamping it, bringing in more dirt. Because last thing you want to do is bring all this dirt, you thinking you done, and then it wash away. Another thing, man, if you're going to be seeding and strawing, you can get a little heavy-handed with that straw, man. That straw is going to hold the moisture. That's why I was able to start getting grass so fast. You want to get your irrigation system and set it up on a timer. You want to wet it up in the morning and at sunset. You could do it a little bit during the day, but if you do it when it's too hot, the sun is just going to absorb all the water, and your seed is going to die. You're just wasting your time. They asked me, they said, hey, you need a porta potty. So I thought to myself, I could rent one or I can buy one. So it costs $400 to rent one. It costs $400 to buy one. What would you do? I'm going to go buy one, right? Hell no. Because now you got to keep up with a porta potty. So now I got a porta potty, and I got to move it and keep up with it. I mean, luckily I could take it to each job site, but man, once you get done with this job, you don't want to have to keep up with a porta potty.